Welcome to the deep dive. We cut through the noise, get straight to the insights you need. And today, we're diving into something that's changing things really fast. ChatGPT.
Yeah, it really is.
And not just for those, big complex questions. We're talking about daily routine stuff.
Exactly. And the potential to save just boatloads of time.
Yeah,
It's pretty amazing when you think about it.
it really is. We're talking about those tasks, the repetitive ones, maybe kind of menial, that just eat up your day.
That's the focus, this deep dive. It's all about how ChatGPT can turn hours, literally hours, into seconds. Free you up for, better things.
More impactful work. Or maybe just more coffee breaks.
Yeah, maybe that too.
So our mission today, explore 9 specific routine tasks where ChatGPT can genuinely save you hours, give you that practical roadmap.
And we're pulling this from a great PC World article by Dave Perrick. Solid stuff.
But first, there's a really crucial piece of advice from that article we need to get out there right away.
Oh, absolutely critical. You should never just accept ChatGPT's first attempt, ever.
Right. Think of it like a super smart intern, maybe. Capable, but needs guidance.
That's a good way to put it. You always need to review it, tweak it, make it yours. That human touch, that's what makes it work.
Okay, got it. Crucial groundwork laid. So let's kick off with number 1, something we all do. Emails.
Emails, yes.
Writing emails. It can be such a tricky task, can't it? Getting the wording just right, especially professionally. Poor phrasing could actually hurt your career.
Oh, definitely. You stare at that blank screen. It's a real mental block sometimes.
So how does ChatGPT help here? Where's the heavy lifting?
Well, you feed it the basics, right? Who it's for, the main points you need to hit, the outcome you want, and importantly, the tone.
The tone. That's always the hardest part.
Exactly. You can tell it, make this firm but polite, or write this in a warm, friendly tone. It gets those cues. It pens that first draft.
So it gives you a huge head start, basically. Breaks that writer's block.
Precisely. It gets the ball rolling. Then you take it, refine it, put it in your own voice. But that initial hurdle, gone.
Okay, that makes sense. Moving from words to, plans.
Yeah.
Number 2, generating itineraries and schedules.
Oh, this is a good one.
Yeah, for anyone who, like me, kind of hates planning trips but still wants to squeeze every last drop out of them.
Right. You want to make the most of it, but the research, it can be overwhelming. Paralyzing, like you said.
So ChatGPT steps in as my pocket travel agent.
Pretty much. You give it the location, what you're into, history, hiking, food, whatever.
Yeah, it just figures it out.
It does the legwork. The source actually says it can handle maybe 80% of the research. Instead of days, it's, much faster. Think of the time saved.
And I bet you can play around with prompts, too, like suggest some unusual museums or find kid-friendly hikes.
Exactly. That's a key benefit. You can brainstorm with it,
Right.
discover cool ideas you wouldn't have found otherwise.
Then just toss the ones you don't like.
Nice. It's not just efficiency. It's discovery, too.
Okay, beyond the practical stuff, let's talk learning. Number 3, breaking down difficult concepts.
Ah, yes. This is a powerful one.
We've all been there, right?
Yeah.
Trying to wrap your head around something complex.
Yeah.
Networking, AR, blockchain, maybe even large language models themselves.
And explanations can be, lacking sometimes or too technical.
So ChatGPT can tackle basically anything.
Pretty much any concept you throw at it, it gives you a clear, simple breakdown. And the cool part is you can tailor it.
How so?
You can say, explain this like I'm 5, or explain this for someone who understands the basics but wants more detail. It adapts.
And the article mentioned you can even ask for analogies or visuals, make it more concrete.
Yes, analogies, sometimes even pointing towards images or concepts that help visualize it. It makes abstract stuff relatable, like that private tutor, always on call.
Democratizing knowledge, as you said. That's huge.
It really lowers the barrier to understanding complex fields.
Which kind of leads us to number 4, analyzing and making tough decisions.
This one might raise some eyebrows. Using AI for big life choices.
Yeah, it sounds a little weird, doesn't it? We wrestle with these choices, personal, professional, and our emotions definitely get tangled up in them.
That's exactly the point the source makes. Human judgment gets clouded. AI, though, it can prioritize pure logic.
So how does that work? You just lay out the problem.
Yeah. Outline the dilemma, give it the facts, the variables. It can weigh the pros and cons, analyze the different angles, maybe even suggest a path forward based on logic.
But you don't have to listen to it, obviously.
Of course not. And here's the really interesting insight. Sometimes seeing the AI's logical answer, you might react against it.
So disliking its suggestion actually clarifies what you truly want.
Precisely. It acts like a mirror. That reaction tells you something about your own hidden preferences or values. It's a tool for self-discovery in a way.
Okay, I could see that. Interesting. Let's move to number 5. Planning complex projects and strategies.
Right. Something most jobs involve. Project planning, management, breaking down big goals.
Which can be super time-consuming. Just figuring out the steps can feel overwhelming.
And that's where ChatGPT is invaluable. You feed it, the project details the goal, constraints, resources, maybe where you are already.
And it maps it out.
It breaks it down into smaller, manageable steps. It can give you a phased plan, a timeline, a real roadmap.
The article says it can shorten planning from hours to minutes. Is it really that fast? Does it need much back and forth?
It can be incredibly fast, yes. You might need a little back and forth refining prompts, asking for more detail on certain phases, sure.
But the core structure is there quickly.
Exactly. It provides that structured thinking partner. It's not just speed. It might highlight steps or risks you hadn't considered. Leads to more robust plans.
Makes sense. And speaking of saving massive amounts of time, number 6, compiling research notes.
Oh, yeah. Students, researchers, writers, anyone doing deep dives into topics.
The article uses the example of the Croatian War of Independence, compiling all that info manually. Huge hassle.
Immense. But ChatGPT can take raw info, summarize it, create timelines, even find related context like key players or maybe battle maps if the data's there.
And the source mentions something called deep research.
Yes, that's a neat feature. It's available even for free users, though limited like 5 tasks a month or something.
What does it do differently?
It conducts multi-step research. Takes longer, maybe up to 30 minutes, but it digs deeper and generates these comprehensive, cited reports.
Wow. Cited too. That's useful.
Very. It saves potentially hours, even days of just compiling and synthesizing. Lets you focus on the analysis, not just gathering data.
Time is precious. Which brings us nicely to number 7. Summarizing articles, meetings, and more.
Information overload, right? We're drowning in it.
Totally. Extra long articles, interview transcripts, lectures, those endless Zoom meeting recordings.
There are only so many hours in the day.
So ChatGPT could just give you the short version.
Yep. Feed it the text, or often a link, and ask for a quick summary. Helps you decide if it's worth digging into the whole thing.
Saves you from wading through stuff that isn't relevant.
But there was a critical warning here, wasn't there? Huge warning. Absolutely never share private or confidential information. Company data under NDA, personal secrets, anything sensitive, don't do it.
Right. Keep private stuff private. And there was another tip, too, about limiting its scope.
Yes, that's important. If you give it a link, tell it specifically. Summarize only the content from this link.
Why is that so important?
Because otherwise, it might pull in related info from its general training data to seem more helpful, which could be inaccurate, out of context, or just not what you asked for. You need to control the information source for the summary.
Got it. Control the context. Okay, number 8. Creating Q&A flashcards for learning.
I remember making flashcards by hand. It took forever.
You need to. Hours just writing them out before you even start studying.
Well, ChatGPT changes that completely. You just tell it what you're studying.
How, describe the topic.
Yeah, or paste in your notes, point it to a text, say, create flashcards on the key concepts of quantum physics from these notes.
And you can specify the format. Q&A, multiple choice.
Exactly. Broad topics, specific details. You can even upload your own study materials for it to use as a reference. Make studying way more efficient.
So you spend time learning, not creating the tools. That's smart.
Totally streamlines it. The article also mentions Google's Notebook LM app has a similar function, so this idea is definitely catching on.
Good to know. Okay, last one, number 9. And this feels really practical for career stuff. Providing interview practice.
This is surprisingly effective.
Really? Practicing for interviews?
Mm-hmm.
You usually needed a patient friend or family member.
Right. Now, ChatGPT can act as your mock interviewer, and the source says it's shockingly capable.
Wow. So what do you tell it?
You give it the context. Job title, industry level, entry level, senior, whatever, and the type of interview.
Like a first-round screener versus a technical deep dive.
Or
panel interview.
Exactly. Screener, technical, behavioral, group panel, one-on-one. You name it. It adjusts its questions.
And then it interviews you.
Yeah.
Does it give feedback?
It does. It asks questions, you answer, and then it provides feedback on your answers. Points out strengths, areas to improve.
That sounds invaluable. A safe space to practice and get honest feedback without the high stakes.
It really helps you knock off the rough edges, refine your answers, and just build confidence, improves your chances.
Okay, so 9 really practical ways ChatGPT can save time on routine tasks. Let's recap the big picture here.
Well, it means ChatGPT, if you use it smartly, is this incredibly powerful assistant for all sorts of everyday stuff.
It frees up mental energy, right? From writing emails to planning trips to learning complex things.
To making decisions, planning projects, doing research, summarizing info, studying, even prepping for interviews. It streamlines so much.
But the key takeaway, weaving through all of this, is what you said right at the start.
Yeah, it's not magic. It's about smart prompting, giving it clear instructions, and most importantly, that iterative refinement.
Don't just take the first draft. Guide it. Oversee it.
Exactly. It's a tool that amplifies your productivity, but it needs your input, your judgment, your human touch to really shine.
So the author of the source article, Dave Perrick, he ended with a thought that AI may just change the world, but hasn't yet decided if it will be for the better or worse.
That's the big question, isn't it?
It really is. And it leaves a question for you, the listener. As this technology gets woven deeper into our lives, how will you consciously choose to use its power for positive change?
And what responsibilities do we all share in shaping how this incredible tool impacts our world?
Something to think about.